recorded
live
in the sexy
summertime
studios
in
New York.
New York.
It's
The Matt
and Ed
Show,
hosted
by
Matt
and Ed.
And Kit and Saverio. Hello!
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to episode 5 of the Matt and Ed Show. My name's Matt.
My name is Ed.
And we have two very special guests here. For the first time ever, we have two guests.
That's more
in
than
the
one.
studio with us.
Not one, but two of us.
We have
We
Kit
use a
and
plural noun
we
now.
have Kit and Saverio here. What's going on, guys?
How are you guys doing?
Rather well.
I'm doing pretty well too. Happy to be here. The view's wonderful.
Yeah,
the
we're-
sexy summertime studios
Yeah.
in New York, New York.
School's
are-
over, so we got kicked out of the beautiful
Sexy.
Black Box
Yeah.
Studios. So we're recording in my living room.
Shout out to Kay Downey.
Shout out. Downey. She actually walked up to me today. She was like, "Why were you using the black box yesterday?" And we were like, "Oh, we're recording podcasts." She was like, "Oh." She was like, "Why were you using the black box the day before school ends?"
Which is
But what else would I be doing with my time?
Yeah. Okay.
Black box is my life.
So, Kit and Saverio, you guys don't know this, or you might know this. You could know this. It's highly possible. But whenever we have a guest on the show, we have a tradition. The guest comes up with a nickname for themselves.
I heard this.
But since you two are together, I figure you come up with a nickname for the other one.
Yeah.
So Kit's going to come up with one for Saverio, and Saverio's going to come up with one for Kit.
You have
Ooh.
7 seconds.
Okay, you
Okay,
guys
I've
ready?
already got mine.
Oh, you already got one?
Yeah.
Okay.
4,
3, 2, 1.
One.
Okay, Kit,
Okay,
what's
Kit.
your name for Saverio?
Severo, you're Italian playboy.
Italian Playboy. And what's yours?
Mr. Fabulous.
Thank you.
Mr. Fabulous. So added
Mr.
to
Fabulous.
Mr. Clean, Mad Max, we have Italian Playboy and Mr. Fabulous.
Or could it be Sir Fabulous?
Sir
No, I think
Fabulous.
Sir Fabulous is better.
Sir Fabulous.
Sir Fabulous.
Fits
Baron.
better.
We already have a
No,
Mr.
Baron's French.
Yeah.
Count.
Count.
Count is also French.
God damn it.
It's Sir or Lord.
Lord
Oh.
Fabulous.
Lord Fabulous.
Okay.
Lord Fabulous is
That
pretty-
sounds like one word. Like
It does.
Lord
I just
Fab-
got back my math grade. 'Twas Lord Fabulous.
That's what my grandma used to do with my mum. My mum got terrible grades because they used to always travel because my grandpa was a film director. And she'd always get
movie
Fs.
podcast.
Yeah.
She'd always get Fs, right? And she'd come home, and my grandma was German, or she was German.
She's
And then
not German anymore.
no, she's
When she was German.
she's not alive. But, you know.
And there's 2 years.
So back, you know,
She was off and on.
back, you know, this is back when she was a kid, and she my mama got an F. She's like, darling, F is for fabulous.
And
So
we said today that I wonder if this is going to be chaotic or not, and we're less than 3 minutes in, and I think we already know the answer about
We
how
have
this is going to
established
go.
one thing.
could be a little chaotic.
So we watched a movie today named Son of God. We're going to talk about it.
Son of God and City of
City
God.
of God.
Matt told me that it was Son of God.
I actually had
about
a
week
fight
ago.
with Saverio yesterday about the name of the movie being Son of God or City of God, and it's definitely City
It's
of God.
Definitely.
Cidade de
Yeah,
Deus.
so
I'm
Son
sorry
of
for
God is
mispronouncing
a movie
that.
that I think has 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. If
All
I'm
right, so
correct.
Son of God is
It's
our
about
next
Jesus. Yeah. No, it's
Oh,
not.
is it the one? Was it directed? I think it was directed by someone that was actually like not that bad. He just made like a really bad movie.
Was that person someone who doesn't speak loud into the microphone?
I'm so sorry.
He didn't speak much louder.
That was not.
Like, okay, so
You've got to talk here.
Of course, of
Right
course.
here,
of course.
so okay.
yeah, why
so,
don't you just scoot
so
in?
let's move
Yeah,
to
yeah.
City of God then.
Well, no. We
Alright,
still got 15 minutes of BS to talk about.
Oh, okay, well,
Yeah, we
let's
got
do
time
that
to
instead.
kill.
Yeah.
BTS with
Kit's
the Matt and Ed show.
Kit's trying to host the podcast now. He's
Okay,
two
guys.
of us are prepared to talk about this movie, and the other two are here.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting little episode today. So school's over.
School is
You
over.
guys excited for the summer?
Yes,
Very
rather going on a directing course
Oh, awesome.
enticing.
at USC.
Ooh.
Oh,
That's
that's like my top school.
Yeah.
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 USC.
It's actual like film undergrad program. It's got a
Yeah.
3% acceptance rate.
I know.
Damn.
It's insane,
It's
and
horrifying.
I'm hoping to get it.
Good luck
Hoping.
to you.
I believe in you.
We're both applying to it.
Could you pass me the water?
You're also applying to it?
Not the film program. Well, I mean,
if it's not the film program, then we don't. Then
yeah, I'm applying to communications program. But I'm going to double major in something in the film thing,
fun.
which is writing for TV and film.
Yeah.
Screenwriting.
Yeah.
Do you have Final Cut? Oh, so Final Draft.
No.
You should get if you want to do really good screenwriting. The best app for it is Final Draft.
All right.
Shout out to Final Draft.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Final Draft.
totally didn't sponsor this episode, and I mean that earnestly. They totally didn't sponsor this episode.
They didn't, but like if you're listening to
But
this,
do it
work
now.
for Final
Yeah.
Draft, you maybe wanna,
You
If
know,
you're
yeah.
interested in script writing, get Final Draft. It's only like $150.
Oh.
At the Matt and Ed show.
If you go, so
Link down below.
one of the first questions we got asked when people found out we were doing the show was, would you like sell out and take sponsorships? By the way, I'm going to take that back because those are my notes. And to which we both looked at each other, made up our mind in about 2 seconds, and said yes.
Hell yes.
Yeah, we will gladly sell out. So if you
want
want
us
to
to literally
sponsor us.
talk about the glories of your deodorant for an hour, we will do that.
Okay, by the way, it's 6 minutes in and I still haven't plugged the things. So,
Oh.
like I said, you can find us on youtube.com if you look up Matt and Ed Show. You can check us out at soundcloud.com/Matt-and-Ed-Show.
No hyphen after the show.
No hyphen after the show. And
A
if
dab.
you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow us at Matt and Ed Show. And if you want to get in contact with us, the easiest way is to send us an email, mattandedshow@gmail.com, if you would so desire to send us an email about something.
They need followers, so just do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Please.
Follow them.
We're desperate, please.
Water.
Final
Yeah. It's pretty exciting. I mean, this is the first time we're actually recording in my house. We recorded in someone else's house before. But
Yeah.
not mine.
This is a beautiful house.
Thank you.
It's
It really is.
Stunning view, my dear.
Aw.
Stunning view.
Yeah.
You can't see
Views.
the view because this is audio, but you know that you're missing something fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
so.
Lord
It
Fabulous.
is Lord Fabulous. It's pretty wild. You know, we're done with the year. I feel like this year went pretty quickly. Not gonna lie.
It's all
Yeah.
blur, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, you came here this year. And you
Yeah.
were new.
Yeah.
You
We're
were
very quickly.
You're this British guy that came in.
Sort of
He's
had
just
emerged. Like you walk out of the ocean,
I came in with my overcoat. I remember.
Oh my god,
He
yeah.
landed,
Came in
he
with the
landed with
overcoat
his,
and I was like, I bet he has a British accent.
He
And
flew
was like,
over-
hello, my
he
dear.
flew over with his umbrella.
Yeah.
He just cheekily landed, took off his hat, said, "Jolly good day, guys." Hello.
How are you doing? That's my terrible British accent.
Jolly good day.
Yeah.
But yes, City of God.
Oh.
No.
It's only been 8 minutes, my
Oh,
dear.
okay.
Yeah, so we
So,
still got time, but you
City
can
of-
talk about whatever you want here. You got
Alright,
you actually had a concert yesterday
I
with your
did have
band.
a concert. Shout out to the Social Q.
You like how you shout
Shout
your
out
own
at
band.
official
That's
Social.
like
Yeah.
when Jared Leto
So-
thanked his own band during the Oscars.
Yeah, but see, like, yeah.
Shout out,
I
actually,
had a point, but
actually,
I forgot it.
the real shout out here goes to the 20 people that actually came to watch us.
I
live,
was there,
which-
except
yeah,
for it's
exactly.
not Ed's act because
So-
I was
so was-
finishing
so-
recording a
Yeah.
podcast.
So was Ed, and so was Kit.
Yeah.
Ed
I was-
actually opened the show for
I
us.
was.
The reason.
Yeah, go.
So the reason I left midway through our last episode was I had to go open for Saverio's concert.
Yeah, the Matt and Maxime show became super popular. The 20 minutes of, and so I came just as Ed was finishing because I was gonna drop off his computer, and I ended up staying for the concert, which I think I was planning on doing, but I wasn't so sure. But I was there, so I couldn't leave, and I sat next to Kit, and they were pretty awesome.
They
the
were
Social
pretty
Cues.
awesome.
Thanks,
You
guys.
guys
Very
are,
awesome.
yeah,
Thank you.
gotta say, you're Lorenzo.
Lorenzo.
Wild.
Lorenzo was a
Lorenzo's
god.
Guy?
a very good drummer.
I've never seen anyone on the drums like that. Like, never ever seen.
Yeah,
it.
It's incredible.
He's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You know.
He's got
Shout
it.
out to Lorenzo.
Shout out to Lorenzo Devoli at Social Q, official Social Q, Social
on
Q
what?
official on everything. No, just Instagram actually.
On Instagram.
There's a pretty big divide between everything and Instagram.
Technically,
Because like
if
when
Instagram is
I was-
accessible to everyone,
it's not. No.
no, it's
But
not.
like, if
I
you drew a
didn't.
Venn diagram where you had a big circle for everything and a smaller circle in there for Instagram, like you'd be looking at the circle and you wouldn't be able to see the Instagram in
No,
that
no way.
circle.
Oh, no way.
Probably.
No
So
way.
if you want to check out Saverio's band,
Yeah,
official social
check us
media
out.
on
We
Instagram.
wrote some songs. We
Are
did
they
some
on-
covers.
Are they on SoundCloud?
Not yet.
Oh,
but-
Go to Saint Chaos. That's
Don't go
Saverio's SoundCloud.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
very interesting.
go to
Go
Saint
to
Chaos.
go to
Link in the description of the video.
Oh yeah.
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 Don't worry, this isn't officially recognized by any school. So you're
Oh no,
okay.
that's not.
We're not officially
Yeah.
sanctioned. Everyone hates us. It's all good.
No, it's not. It's just because I was too lazy to go talk to the principal about it.
It's just
Although-
ultimately probably been a good thing.
Although some teachers have told me they've listened. I'm not gonna say who.
With like a
Shout out
like
to-
a smile on their face.
Yeah, they're
Like
like, I really enjoyed it. I was like,
yeah,
thank
you're
you.
so good.
Shout out to whatever teachers are listening to this podcast.
You have to say Chaos is gonna be beeped out.
Yeah. Go to SoundCloud.com.
Go to.
Slash Lord Fabulous.
Oh, every time it says say Lord Fabulous.
You guys are making me edit this episode? Come on. You must not know how the show works.
No.
No. There's no
We do not edit.
What is editing?
Editing is for lesser beings.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Actually, they're for more talented beings with more time.
That
But,
also-
although it is summer. So
It is the summer. We can do a
You're
little
traveling,
bit.
right?
I am traveling.
That's cool.
I'm traveling soon, actually.
Also,
next
shout
week.
out to Saverio for giving us the mic for the
Yeah.
summer
Oh yeah,
episode.
the snowball,
Yeah.
We're
Well,
currently
with which I also record my things that I put on SoundCloud.
don't worry. You didn't need to do that thing with your hand
No.
because we can't hear you anyways when you talk. So
Well,
it's just dying because he knows it's true.
I think I'm watching. I think I'm watching Kit have like a seizure every time. Every time someone says something funny, I'm looking at Kit and I'm like, should we get him medical assistance? Y'all can't see this.
No, we just.
It's okay, guys. I'm a lifeguard.
No,
Oh my god.
a certified
we should
lifeguard.
we should talk about City of God soon. I'm just saying.
Yes, we're
should.
going to. We're just.
It's okay, we
we're
still
just
have-
sitting to the format. We're just.
I'm sticking to your format.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
The Format and Ed show.
Oh my god.
Did you format it for the format and
Ed show. Yeah.
The
So,
format is
I
format.
guess because we have a couple minutes left before we start talking about the movie. What are some of your guys' favorite movies? I know Kit's super into film. And his
Yes.
grandfather was the director.
Still is a director.
Still is a director.
still is a
Yes,
director.
Still is a director. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still trying to still making films.
What the
That's
devil?
awesome.
At age 85, I think, or older.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still making films.
Yeah. He just
Damn.
finished his most recent one, like 2 years ago.
Wow.
Nice. I'm just gonna scooch.
Like
this
almost 3 years. Almost 3 years ago now. It's called Queen and Country. I'm in it. I'm like a soldier, like an extra.
Oh, nice.
In in the typewriting scene, but I kept messing it up. And
How'd you mess up being an extra?
No.
The boy did
no,
not
'cause,
do anything.
Just walk
'cause-
by
because-
in the back. You
I-
messed it up.
I had braces at the time, so I wasn't allowed to smile because it was set in the 50s, and people in the 50s didn't have braces, so I could only smile with like my face, as in I couldn't open
Why
my mouth.
can't they get you like a fake set of teeth?
No, they're
Who
not
has money
gonna.
for
They're not gonna.
fake teeth?
They-
What
just-
a child.
This
They're
was
making-
shot in Romania. Okay,
okay.
As in, we didn't have a big budget for this film.
Okay.
And
You see like chariots walk by, and this guy smiles like with a full set of braces, just like.
so let me finish. So I kept messing it
Let
up.
me finish.
I kept messing it up, and my grandpa, who's like really sweet and kind, outside of the film room,
Oh, yeah.
outside like not on set. He's the kindest person on set. You don't want to mess with him, right? You don't want to mess up
Right.
because he started shouting and swearing at me, and mom was like, John, that's my son.
Bad.
Bad John. Bad John.
That's your grandson.
Bad.
Oh,
Red
terribly
Fabulous.
sorry.
But hey,
He's actually a lovely man. I'm
He-
portraying him as a not so nice person, but he's actually a very nice person.
yeah.
No,
hey
but-
man, you gotta get started in the business. Somewhere.
People
Yeah.
You know,
change.
If it's an extra.
But as a director, you gotta. I mean, when you're like actually like managing a full set on a feature film,
No, but
Yeah, I know.
you have to. There's so much to handle. You've got like 4 assistant directors, right?
No, yeah, of course.
One of them like is the main one who like shouts at people, like, and there's like one who handles the actors, one who handles like the crew. It's like, there's so many
Yeah.
different people actually like working.
Yeah.
But as a director, like one of the key elements a director like needs is like the ability to problem solve,
Yes.
because there's
Right.
so many things that can go wrong in
And
film,
they inevitably do.
and then they inevitably do. Yeah, so like It's actually very stressful.
Yeah.
Plus you're balancing budgets, finding money for films.
Yeah.
So that's
There's
the part.
also math.
Yeah, also maths. There's also maths for it, exactly. So you know, going into it, it's not as like glamorous as people would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've directed some plays in my day, which obviously I feel like directing movies is significantly harder because there's so much more into it that you have to do in terms of like when you're directing a play, you do everything, but you're not worrying about cameras. You know, you're not worrying about editing because you can't really edit a play.
No.
So I do not envy film directors. I mean, I envy some, like the ones that make a lot of money. Those are cool.
I'm done with envying J.J. Abrams. You know, that man probably like sleeps on a pile of $1 bills.
Well, I think he was talking. I saw an interview with him
about why he isn't stepping down for the Avengers Infinity War, I think is what it's called.
Infinity War. Like, you take a war and you bring
I
that war up
know,
to
I was
infinity.
just making sure. And he said because it would take 3 years of his life away, and he doesn't know if he wants to commit to that. Because, like, apparently Avengers took so long, you know, which makes sense. Because, you know, I haven't seen every movie, but I feel like that one took a lot of time, you know, as compared to many movies.
Can we start every opinion anyone ever has on a movie from now on with the phrase, I haven't seen every movie, but...
I was going to say I haven't seen a lot of movies, but that's not true. So I had to just keep going until I found something that's...
I haven't watched every movie ever made, so I don't know how valid my opinion is. However, in this case, I feel...
The need to proclaim.
City of God.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yes.
No, close enough.
Let's talk
it's
Initial
close enough.
thoughts.
All right.
Initial thoughts.
So-
Okay, Ed, we'll go first.
So I have a confession to make.
Oh God.
This is about Ed's professionalism, and I want you guys all to know how much effort one podcast host puts in and the other one, as opposed to the other one. So Ed's going to go first, and he's going to tell you what he did last night.
So I fell asleep during this movie. I started it very late. And
The
then
whole day.
I had the whole day, in theory, but I'm a
No, I
huge
meant the whole day
procrastinator.
today.
I had the whole day today.
Yeah, but you didn't know what time we were coming though. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. We were originally supposed to start recording at about 1.
It's
It's currently
It's currently
6:03. And
We're very sorry for that, by the
No,
way.
it's
We
okay,
didn't.
it's
We didn't mean.
We got a bit caught up.
Yeah, we were a little late.
yeah, it's okay. We watched Oh Hello on Broadway,
Which
so,
is
on
fantastic.
Netflix.
Oh,
So
hello.
carry on. Initial thoughts. Initial
So-
thoughts. Let's not digress too much here.
I have
You clearly haven't seen our show.
So I have few memories of this movie.
Okay.
But I have these like I have images in my brain, like there's a small child, and then that small child grows up and kills a bunch of people. There's a man with a camera, and he makes an important ethical decision at the end.
That man with the camera, just some guy.
That man with the camera.
I don't know what this movie was. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Okay, Saverio, we want to go next?
I watched City of God a couple times. The first time I watched it with my parents. Also because my parents have lived in Brazil before and they experienced the favelas, I guess. Like they saw like what was happening and what the situation was, so they know a lot about it. And they told me that it was a beautiful movie and that it depicted like it perfectly, like the situation there. When I watched this, I
Make it louder.
really enjoyed it. I actually consider it to be one of my favorite movies in
the scope of movies.
that I have
Although
watched.
you haven't seen every movie.
Although I haven't watched every movie out there, I do consider this to be one of the favorite movies out of the small selection of movies compared to all the ones that are out there that I have watched.
I'm glad that sentence exists. You know.
All right, I'll go next. I really like this movie. I actually watched this movie. I took copious notes on this movie.
I'm sorry. Okay.
This is forever gonna be. And I did, in fairness, I didn't watch it in one sitting because I kind of want to go to bed. So I woke up and I finished it in the morning. But that's why I take notes so I can remember what happened. But I did finish it. I think this is an awesome movie, especially knowing nothing going in, literally nothing, except Kit said it was good. And, I was initially like, because I started watching this like not very late, but kind of late, and I saw this, and like I wasn't initially like super paying attention because I was still setting my notes set up, and then I saw like I always watch movies with subtitles just so I don't know why, that's just how I do things, and I saw the subtitles, but I wasn't really paying attention to what was being said because I was just reading along, and then I realized it was in Portuguese, and then I was like, I have to pay more attention now. But it was very worth it. I really did enjoy this movie. And Kit, you have a lot to say about this movie.
Oh,
Yes,
you do.
well, I did. In contrast to Matt's mere measly notes there,
Measly.
I've written a 2,000-word analysis on it.
Lord Fabulous speaks.
For a film project. So I know a decent amount about this film. I think this is one of the best films ever created.
Ooh.
And I haven't watched every film, but I have watched a lot of films, and no man and no woman could ever watch every film in existence. However, I feel like I've got a good filtration system to what's a good film.
Challenge accepted.
I've seen more bad films than I've seen good films.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
You know, I actually
it's good
have
too.
seen every film.
I recently watched Captain Underpants, the new Captain Underpants
Oh
film.
really? How'd that go?
Yeah, it's actually a work of art. It's genius.
Genius.
But the books are genius. Have you?
Yeah,
Those
of
books
course
are
I've read
amazing.
They were
I mean,
beautiful.
I have some of the books in my bedroom because I don't to give stuff away. When I grow up, apparently.
Can that be a new show? Story time with Matt, and you just read.
Story time with
yeah,
Matt.
I'll upload it to
That
the
would-
channel. I'll read Captain Underpants.
I think half my vocabulary is from Captain Underpants.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's
That's how I
really-
learn English.
And we're also gonna have a UK dub where you do it. You know, because of the language difference between the UK
Yes.
and the US.
Yes, simplified English
Yeah.
and formal
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kit.
Yeah.
I'm Italian.
Are you?
Both of your languages are just weak compared to mine.
Listen.
What do you mean weak
How many
compared to? What
people
does that
speak
mean?
your language? Like 10?
Exactly. that shows how many people can't and are just unable to
So that
speak
makes it
that
that
language.
makes it a strong language.
That makes it a difficult language.
I've heard Italian's actually relatively.
Why do you
easy
think
to
English
learn.
is the most used language in the world?
Because
Because of British
imperialism.
Because of British
Yeah.
colonization,
Because of
dude.
imperialism.
It's easy.
This is coming from someone whose verbs all conjugate the same way. Like, you know how many ways there are to
eat.
conjugate a verb in English?
or Spanish.
There are not a lot.
Conjugate
like
some
a
verbs
pig.
for me, Severio. Conjugate the verb to take.
That's not.
I mean, you know how all your verbs also end in the same way? We've got verbs like take, give. Those are related verbs that have completely
Wait, in
different
Italian?
endings.
No.
No? My bad. Pray continue. Conjugate some verbs for me.
In Italian?
Yes, let's conjugate verbs on the
Verbs
Matt show.
and not talk about City of God.
God damn it. Okay, so this film. How about let's play some games? What do y'all think this film was released, it's, I guess, technical release date was the 18th of May, 2002. That's what, I found a couple dates for it, but that was the earliest one I found.
It was released in Brazil in 2003, technically.
Well, the earliest, I guess, film date I found online was 2002. What do you guys think the budget of this film was? Kit may know this, but
$3.3 million.
this is no fun.
But
Saverio,
inside,
what do you think it is? What do you think the budget is?
You want to hypothesize?
Kit's going last.
I just said.
Yeah.
I just said we can't do this again.
You can't put the genie back in the bottle.
I don't know. It seems like maybe $2,000.
$2,000. You know, that's the second closest so far.
I'm gonna.
No, actually, no. Okay. It's in the millions. Maybe not more than 5.
That's not a guess. That's a lot of numbers in
Okay.
between.
Actually, infinite numbers.
No,
Number of
there's
more
only
than 5,
four.
less than a
There's,
million.
Infinite numbers between 1
There's
and 0.
real
Yeah.
and not real numbers.
You think there's a not? How many decimal
Okay,
points do you think the
alright.
budget of this movie is gonna go?
All right.
Infinite
Saverio, give a
numbers.
number.
Why are we doing this?
Because this is how we do
Three
this on
point-
the show.
22229 million.
Okay. Ed, what do you think?
I'm gonna guess
It's 3.2.
3.222291 million.
I think he's
Well,
close.
Kit won, but I suspect he cheated. It's $3.3 million. We're gonna play another game. What do you guys
Good
think
job,
the
Kit.
box office was? Kate, you're going last.
He's
Ed,
looking, he's
Ed,
looking
he's
for
going
it.
through his notes to try and find it.
He's trying to find it.
Okay,
the,
Saverio,
the
yeah.
bottom. I have a feeling it grossed around
Yes, the radio silence.
100 million.
100 million.
Okay, what do you think?
I'm gonna be more conservative. I'm gonna say like maybe 20 million.
All right. Kit, do you want to just give us the answer,
It's $30 million.
or it's actually $30.6 million?
Oh!
But he's still the closest, so Kit wins, everyone.
Good job! Yay!
Good job.
Lord
Which
Fabulous.
is tenfold of the budget, by the way.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
They made money.
Yes.
They made.
Pretty
It was
well.
one of
And-
the most successful. It was the first really commercially successful Brazilian film
Yeah.
Dope.
And
in a while.
if you think about
Like
the fact,
really successful.
if you think about the fact that all the actors were taken from the actual favelas, like they were all like children of the street or
Well,
people that weren't
So
actors.
they didn't have to pay him much.
Well,
That's why the budget.
No, but to be able to
what
make a
they
movie
did,
with-
what they did, which was interesting, and they didn't tell anyone, even people at the school. So they set up an acting school in the favelas, right?
Oh.
And they didn't, and they set it up for about 9 to 10 months, I think. And they didn't tell anyone about the film
Yeah.
until the
For
very
this,
end.
yeah.
And then they had all these actors ready, basically. And that's why there's such a large multitude of characters in the film.
Yeah.
That
there's
seems
so many.
there's so many
Right.
characters in the film. And what the director, I forgot the director's name, I keep forgetting.
And also like different people
What-
playing the same character in different times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what Mireles did, Fernando Mireles, he
There's a reason, because usually I put the cast list out, but I was like, I'm just not going to be able to pronounce these names, so I didn't.
So what he did basically, he kind of created this open world. The first film to really successfully make kind of an open world sort of film, and how he introduces the majority of the main characters is either in the background or kind of very briefly glossed over at first. For example, one of the main protagonists at the end of the film, what's his name? Something Ned.
Oh,
yes.
Knockout Net.
Yeah,
Knockout Ned.
He was introduced into the film.
He's just
in
in
a
the
very
bus,
yeah no,
right?
no not
Very
actually,
inconspicuous
not
way.
on the bus
Before?
You may think he was on the bus, but it was actually a lot before. When we first see Lil Z growing up, right, and he plans to take over the whole City of God area,
Yes.
right, and he's turned 18. Everyone's celebrating, right? He's with Benny, and then he just walks through the crowd, right, and then Knockout Ned knocks into him by accident, and then he smacks his stomach, and then he goes off frame. That was the first time.
Whoa.
That was the first
That's
time he was
crazy.
introduced into the film, but you don't notice that.
You don't, because you don't.
Right.
You're not given any context
that-
as to why that would be
Yeah.
important. You
Yeah.
just think it's
And
something.
that's
That's
the
a David
that's the
synopsis,
majority of the
yeah.
characters. So what it creates, it feels like what the City of God feels like when you watch the film, when you're into it, that it's like a constantly proactive environment where there are things happening, cause and effect. It's very based off like
Yeah.
the notions of cause and
It's
effect.
very like
it's
butterfly
yeah.
effect.
So like you feel like even in the background, there's always something going on, basically. And there's a piece of drama all around the favelas happening, and that's why
Right.
everything bleeds into each other.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So just to kind of like summarize the movie, the essential thing is it's told from the perspective of this kid named Rocket, who is an aspiring photographer, but it's told in like a very timeline perspective. He's looking back. It shows you, it's one of those movies where it starts off with like the big climactic point of the movie,
Yeah.
but it then goes back and gives you the context for that. Which actually is something
builds up to it.
Yeah, it's something I always enjoy in filmmaking when they do that. It's almost like in theater comparison, a very moment theater type thing, which is where you take a moment and then you give the context afterwards. But it's still all about that moment and building to that.
Yeah.
And
You're probably wondering how I got into this situation.
yeah, it's one of those type of movies.
but it's explained through the perspective of him, and they're in this place called the City of God, which is kind of the very poor outpost of Rio.
The favelas of the city.
And essentially it's a story about gangs, drugs, and the crime
mostly.
taking over. There's a lot of characters there. It starts out, there's a lot of death in this movie.
But it's beautiful how it's seen from the inside's eye. It's not an outsider looking in situation. It's a like tourist in your own city kind of situation.
And I think Rocket is a very powerful narrator in the sense that he's never necessarily involved, but he's always intertwined with them.
It's very much inspired that style. With the narrator, the way Rocket narrates is very much inspired by Scorsese, Goodfellas. And it's kind of have you watched Goodfellas?
Yes.
No.
So I forgot the main character, but he narrates the whole thing.
Yeah.
However, you don't always see him in every scene. The same way with Rocket, we hear Rocket more than we actually see him.
Yeah.
Right. He's mainly narrating. When we actually see him on screen, it's a lot more rare than you'd think.
Kate, you're really good at this.
Thank you.
You want to go and play Ed? He falls asleep during films.
The
It
Matt
was one
and-
time, man. It was one time.
We've had 5 episodes.
Welcome,
20% of the time. That's not good. I'm gonna shut up.
welcome to the Matt and Lord Fabulous
show.
recorded live.
And this film's, I gotta say, the one thing I noticed about this film, maybe it's because it's what my, I guess, expertise is, and not only theater, but I guess in film, is lighting. I think the lighting of this movie was so beautiful. It's very visually appealing. There's a lot of different, they use a lot of blue lights, which in mood sense gives you kind of like gloomy, dark.
Actually, funnily enough, with lighting and color, the film has 3 color screens, 3 color schemes throughout the film, and because it's based in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? It starts in the late 60s, goes into like throughout the 70s, and then goes into the early 80s. The color scheme and the lighting changes. It's a lot warmer, and the colors are a lot warmer, and the lights are a lot warmer. In the 60s, back when everyone was kind of
happy,
happy, everything.
Also the characters were young.
Yes.
There was a lot more emphasis on the working class then as well. I mean, the last time you see any form of like working class family, which are actually very prevalent in the favelas, but because those areas are so consumed by crime, because it kind of gang warfare started building up. That's what produces the money. But it's still, everyone's still poor there. Yeah. Right. Even if like you're a gang member and you have a lot more than someone else,
you're still in the scheme of
you're still in the scheme of poverty because you can't escape.
Yeah.
You can't. It's very difficult.
There's no upward mobility. There's no option.
Like there's no social mobility.
It's almost like whenever a character in this movie has the idea of like getting out or leaving, they almost always end up dead.
Yeah.
And I think that's very symbolic of it's kind of trying to prove a message to the idea of the film. Yeah. And that once you're in it, you can't really escape it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes Rocket so interesting, because he's in it. But he's never a member of the gangs.
And he's also trying to find his way to leave.
What makes him interesting is the way he's gotten out, though.
Yeah.
So if you look at Benny, and I think one of the brothers, one of the trio, one
Goose.
of those Goose.
Oh no, Goose is Rocket's brother. Shaggy's the one.
So they both had the same dream.
Yeah, of being farmers.
Being farmers and growing pot on their farms, smoking weed with their girlfriend. Basically, they're both in the same dream.
In the exact same.
And they both got killed.
Yes.
In the end, spoilers.
Well, I think anyone who knows the show is like we're very. Yeah. It's kind of given that we're going to talk. We're kind of spoiler heavy. We're going to spoil. That's what a discussion is.
Yeah. Going back to my last point, because I never finished with the colors and the lighting. Yeah. So the 60s is warm lighting, warm colors, and then the 70s is more. It's not necessarily very blue, but it's actually very the colors are very saturated.
Yeah.
Right. There are dark moments, there are light moments, but it's actually like the colors are very much saturated, and you get this really strong 70s vibe, right? But as soon as Benny gets killed, right, who is kind of like the symbol for innocence and hope.
Yeah, he's like he's the like really cool guy in the film that everyone loves.
Yeah. Isn't he? He's Zay's
He's
from
like
like all
friend.
sides. From
Yeah.
all those, like the gangs love him, the people love him.
The church loves him.
Yeah. But he's
everyone-
always been like
he's just like a really cool guy, but he's also best friends with Lil
With-
Z, who is kind of the antagonist of the
Yeah.
He's the
film.
perpetrator of the
yeah.
majority of violence. He's a
Yeah,
psycho.
He's the psychopath who,
Yeah.
who, because initially they talk about this idea of the tender trio, I think is what they're referred to.
Yeah, it's really true.
And they're just three guys, and Lil Z's like kind of the helper of them, the young little helper. They kind of like their trainee, but they never kill anyone.
Yeah.
That's their thing. They don't kill. They rob, but they don't kill. And then Little Z is the psychopath of the bunch. He's the one who kind of starts killing. And once you progress from robbery to killing, you know, and he has that lack of remorse, it's a lot easier to get away with.
Which made him very successful.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea, because it's shown in the movie that Little Z is, because in the 60s he's a young kid, but in the 70s he's like grown up, and by the time they reveal him in the 70s, you can tell he's a lot higher up than the Tender Trio were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
essentially.
I mean
because he
runs
kills.
the whole
Yeah.
slum at that point.
Yeah.
Say what you will
But
about
also-
killing people, it
So-
makes your life easier.
So when Benny gets killed, because thing is, when Lil Z was just in power, it was just him. There was actually a lot of peace in it about this.
Yeah.
I mean, Lil Z emphasizes that he doesn't want any deaths in the city of
Yeah.
God unless it's perpetrated by
Him.
him
Or his people.
in response to maybe a rising gang or something.
Yeah.
But as soon as Benny gets killed,
That's the breaking point.
That's the breaking point, and that's
Because
when it
you can
goes
see
into the 80s.
the character. You can see the character change from the point of Little Z, who's a
I mean,
person.
Lil Z at this point is like heartbroken because
But he's a person,
Yeah,
but,
that's
but
his-
you can also see
because
but
even though he's a psychopath,
you can see
Benny's
the
like
understanding.
Benny's like the only one who
Yeah.
gets him.
So
And-
it started this whole gang warfare. Right?
Yeah.
And that's when it turns dark tones and blue coloring and harsh lighting. So carry on.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's the way this film is shot and the progression of it is so well done. How long had this? Do you know anything about the director? Had he been directing before, and this was just his like big movie, or
This was his big
like,
break. He's a very good director. He's directed some good films. I've forgotten their names though. City of God being the best
biggest,
film that he's
yeah. The
directed and the biggest. And
White out.
and so what he was before this, and this kind of makes sense in terms of the cinematography and the camera work. What he was before this was a commercial director.
Oh yeah.
Right. So there's kind of in some ways there's a strong emphasis on realism
Yeah.
in the way he directs, and the reason like how you'll notice this is like the extremity of like the amount of characters there are.
Yeah. There's
Right.
so many people. I lost track. Like thinking
and-
about it.
and
Not
two,
a fun movie to miss bits of.
and two, the camera work and how the actors were directed.
Yeah.
So the actors were directed in the sense they were just given moods and end goals of what their character has to do. Right.
So they weren't given.
So they weren't
lines,
given they were given like a few lines, of
Yeah.
course, so like
the key ones.
the key ones. But like otherwise, most of it was improvised,
Wow.
and so was the camera work because everything was improvised. There was no actual like there was no strong blocking. You'll notice that the camera work is very very shifty.
Yeah.
In a
Yeah.
sort of it's very documentary like.
Yeah.
And this has kind of created a hyper realistic situation for the film, which really does allow you to kind of connect with the characters a lot
And
more,
I
connect
think
with
it
the
also
environment a lot more.
it also works a lot because Rocket in the film is an aspiring photographer.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of works with the whole, like, it's not necessarily super polished and super clean cuts to every camera. It's like very shaky and organic, and it kind of mirrors him learning as a photographer,
Right.
Yeah.
in a way. Which is, I mean, I didn't do a commentary on this. This is just what I'm speculating.
Yeah.
But I you bring up a lot of really interesting points here. Just one quick question: why does every film in South America have a character named Benny?
Oh my god.
Does it?
Yes.
There's a lot.
All
We
of
watched
them.
we watched one in Spanish class. Obviously, that's
We did
not
watch
the
something
same.
on Spanish
But
class.
there was a character named Benny in
named
it.
Benny.
And there's, I don't know, and in The Heights, which is not, which is a musical. It's by the same guy who wrote
There
Hamilton.
is a movie coming out though.
There is really.
Benny.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a character named Benny. Although he is ironically the only character who doesn't speak Spanish in the musical.
Yeah, just a quick side note. I don't know why so many people are called Benny. Were the names actually like real? Do you know?
Yeah, the names were planned out
Because this was based on a true story.
Because the true story is the author is kind of sees himself as Rocket basically, except the author wasn't a photographer. The author then had a friend that was a photographer, right? And what he originally did was developed a bunch of small stories about the favelas, right? And one of which glossed over the photographer. So when they completely rewrote the film as a screenplay, it was vastly different to what the actual book contained. But it included a lot of true stories within the screenplay.
So it was like it incorporated reality into it, but it wasn't necessarily directly all true. Obviously, that makes sense because a lot of the lines were improvised. But
yeah.
So you bring up a lot of interesting context about this film because I really didn't know anything about it going in.
Yeah.
About the production and how it was set up. And I assumed it was a bunch of unknown local actors who were filming in the area because
It wasn't even local actors.
Yeah, it was just
people who were again trained in this acting school.
Yeah.
So these people were people who lived in the favelas.
That was just
who lived who have actual recollection of some of the experiences that could have occurred within the film.
Yeah.
However, there was a bit of backlash on this film, a tiny bit, within the favelas itself, because a lot of people there who had watched the film were kind of they were a bit pissed off about the way it was portrayed, because there is a strong sense of community there, and because of that, they were okay, sure, a lot of this stuff may have happened, but right now there's a decent people here are actually kind and decent, and if you guys
we're all gonna cheers.
Cheers.
Saverio accidentally clicked his glass.
To accidentally clinking glasses.
To accidentally clinking glass.
The British guy is like, why you guys all cheer? Saying cheers.
Let me finish.
It's I want to really talk about this movie, but we're just...
No, carry on.
No, yeah, Gary.
We will carry on with glass clinking on this podcast. It is about movies that I slept through.
Oh, Ed.
This.
I'm gonna carve into my tombstone. R.E.P. Ed Horan, 2000 to whatever, slept through City of God.
Never got
Keep
to
sleeping
the
through the movies. It's gonna be to 2017.
my grandpa, as a director, so he says when I die, on my gravestone, I want to be buried. On my gravestone, I want it to read, "That's a wrap."
My number one takeaway from this is that Kit's grandpa's a badass.
Yeah. Mine's gonna say youtube.com/The Matt and Ed Show.
At the Matt and Ed
Yeah. SoundCloud.com/Matt-and-Ed-Show.
No hyphen.
No.
No hyphen.
Dad.
That's what mine's gonna say. This, I gotta say, this film was super cool for me because, like I said, I had no context going in. I just knew. I didn't even know the name. I thought it was Son of God. Clearly.
Which we are watching at some point.
Yeah.
One day. We're
We're going to bring you guys back to do Son of God.
Yeah.
We'll do all
This
the
time
God.
I'm going to do all
Please
the
don't.
Let's do Days of Being Wild next.
All
That's
right.
my one car way.
It's
I also
gonna
did
outshine me.
Dallas
It's usually it's oh wow, Matt, you've done. People like Matt, you do so much research on the films, and I'm coming in and Kits just blew me away right here. It's really cool, I think, because I didn't really know about any of. Obviously, I knew of the poverty and the drug wars in South America, but I wasn't so sure about Brazil because you always see Brazil as kind of one of the more well off.
But that was
the
recently.
countries of the area.
I mean,
That
I'm not
was
going to
only
comment
recently.
on any of that because I really just don't know and I don't want to offend
Yeah.
anyone. But I feel like Brazil didn't have as much. Again.
He said, "I can."
Oh, okay, all right. So I feel like Brazil doesn't have as much of an issue with cartels and so on,
Yeah.
places more closer
Yeah.
to Central America.
I think also because,
However, the favelas was
and I think also they have such a they mention it in the film too that this isn't Rio, because I feel like a lot of people,
No, yeah.
especially in outside of
South America would assume that Brazil is all like Rio type places.
No, yeah.
And obviously it's really not. There's no country that's just places like that,
But
essentially.
then again, if you give it some historical context, like the
Yeah.
60s, 70s, and 80s were the moment, I guess, of the big change
Yeah.
that happened in
The
Brazil.
big cultural
Yeah,
revolution.
and from the even the flag is quite like the Argimi Progresso flag. I think I'm not going to say dates, but it's also quite recent. So what was happening there? The situation is not great at the moment as well. But small like crime in poorer areas is quite a normal thing.
Yeah,
We have it back here
have
in
it
New York.
here
The
in
thing
New
is,
York.
like, we never really think about it when we think about the big cities because there's so much like beauty and scenic value and like historical value to some cities.
and
that-
also like there's the perception of a lot of media. Doesn't
Yeah.
really.
And,
Like if you
when-
think of New York, some
Yeah.
people
Exactly.
like sometimes it's usually either like dirty or it's like the most beautiful city in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it's
Or
usually
it's the most
depicted.
beautiful city under the world under like 6 inches of
Yeah.
solid dirt.
dirt.
Yeah, it's so when you have like this film is really it's grounded in reality, which I think I like.
No, yeah,
and you can,
and it sticks true to the reality.
and it gives a really good like sense of overall perception, and I think it's really based in rock. I think that's the greatest strength of the film is the like how he's such a great almost narrator for the film. And you get to see so many different sides, and there's so many characters in this film.
Yeah.
I gotta say, this is not a film you're not going to pay attention to.
Yeah.
You have to when you watch this film, you sit down and
You'll
pay
forget a lot
attention.
of the characters. I
You-
have personally.
I forgot him too. Like
Yeah.
there was some character like I missed like the scene where Benny was introduced, not like the subliminal scene,
Yeah.
but like the scene where he was like actually there. And like a prominent character, so I wasn't really sure where he is. And they do a lot of mentioning characters by names, even if they're not necessarily there.
Yeah.
Like a couple times, Carrot, who's another drug dealer,
Yeah, Carrot,
is
yeah.
mentioned before like he really shows up. Or
Mm-hmm.
and not to say he plays a huge role in the film. He's a prominent character in the sense, but he himself isn't prominent. If that makes you
As in,
get what I'm saying.
As in, he's talked about a lot, but like he's isn't
Yeah.
necessarily like.
He's just
not
like he's just a
central to
figure
the- yeah.
in the.
Can I give a
in the-
quote by the director?
Yeah,
That
go ahead.
kind of
Did you just ask?
ex-
Damn.
Did you just
that-
ask?
that
Kit,
accentuates-
Can I give a quote?
that accentuates the whole
Wait,
kind
did
of
he?
improvisational. What?
I thought
Never
you started it
Yeah.
off saying,
It sounds
Kit,
like you addressed
can I
yourself
say
by
a
name.
quote?
I didn't hear that. I just heard, can I say a quote?
So never give my actors the script. I would just tell them the intentions behind the scene and the character and let them improvise. So 70% of what you see and hear on the screen, they created by themselves. This is what gives the film its sense of reality.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of truth in that. And I think it works well using the actors who were from there. And a lot of them, probably not all of them, because there are a lot of kids in here.
Yeah.
There are, there's even a little gang of kids.
Yeah.
Um,
Spoilers.
Yeah. well, yeah, but
Kind of.
it's almost like a lot of them had experienced this, or they definitely had family members who had experienced kind of what this is. And I think that if they just chose a bunch of actors from, I don't know, say like the U.S., for example, they might not, even if they're kind of told the context and they're well trained, they might not necessarily be able to really depict it realistically. And I know a lot of it's the director, but the actors do have a key role in that, especially when he's relying so heavy on their improvisations.
Exactly.
That's something that I think is important in the film, and knowing that now that a lot of the film was improvised by the actors kind of gives a lot more a sense of. And a lot of times, I think this film, it was really well shot and stuff, but I thought like some of the dialogue was like not movie type. It almost seemed like I was watching people actually talk, which is kind of like it's both a criticism and a compliment of the movie in a way.
Yeah. But what definitely makes that work is the fact that there's so many characters. Yeah. And in my opinion, the more the characters in this situation just steers it away from the idea of it being just a story and more so to the idea of being it like an actual reality when you you actually see the different faces of it instead of just sticking to like only one path of a few characters. And this film really does that, because there's characters, for example, like, you know, the kid, the one that gets addicted to cocaine and starts coming back with the like white kid with the long hair. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was Ginger.
For example, like
Yeah.
he's just he's not really, you know, like a very important,
He's not important at all, but
But-
he's always
Tiago.
there.
but he's
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
right? He never does like anything that actually makes him, you know, one of the protagonists.
He's just
always
one of
there.
he's just one of Rocket's love interests.
Exactly.
Love it, like boyfriend for a very short period of time is essentially how he's introduced, and
Love it. I mean, as in Rocket's love interest was dating him.
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I
but then
meant.
he was like,
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is like also growing up. There's a lot of like
Yeah.
growing up vibes. You know, he constantly talks about like how he wants to lose his virginity. That's a key talking point for Rocket in the film. You know, he tells it like he's a teenager.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and you get like a very teenage vibe. But at the same time, a lot of these teenagers have to be pretty mature because like
Yeah.
they're surrounded by death and drugs and at a very young age.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty insane in terms of
and that's
what.
yeah that you can see that with Lil Z a lot, because he's exactly that. He's this little kid who was introduced to that kind of life and to killing actually at such a young age. But I'm gonna
Yeah,
spoiler alert for anyone who actually cares about the spoiler alerts, who in the end is taken down by that same force, you know, the little gang of kids that
Yeah.
pops up and shoots him. And
Yeah.
the way that ends, to me, like,
It's
that
symbolic.
really like symbolized something.
It's
that
kinda
it
coming
just-
full circle.
Exactly, it's like
yeah,
the final circle of that kind of life.
yeah. It's
Circle of life.
how it soothes the soul.
Damn.
And I really do see what you're saying. It also kind of shows like maybe this isn't over, because like
Yeah.
there's a kind of everyone dies scene at the end of the movie, but there's still like a large, hey, as much as the main characters for now are dead, you know, this isn't going to be something that's going to be over for
Mhm. Yeah.
for a long time. And I think that kind of shows with the kids being the ones to kill.
And that's also
Lil Z.
like, you know, the whole vibe of the movie of like being a continuous kind of thing.
cycle.
That
Yeah.
even if like the main character dies, you know, like when Benny dies or Knockout Ned dies,
Yeah,
or, you know,
or
when then again
Goose
even
dies.
Goose dies, when even when Z Pequeño or Little Z
Yeah.
dies in the end, you still think, but you know, there's all these other people that we've
Yeah.
been seeing on the screen for the
who
entire
might not
movie.
be as important,
But are still
they-
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it does a good job of introducing enough characters where, even though you do forget a lot of them, and
Yeah.
you do, there's a lot of characters like you see once and then you're not really sure who they are, and it
Yeah.
takes you like a scene to understand really who they are, even though they've been explained. You know,
And then
I
you can
initially
keep on
thought
seeing.
Carrot was a ginger, so I was kind of confused as to why he wasn't a ginger.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. Well,
It's
why
just
did
this one
you
ginger
die?
dude
Yeah.
making so much money, killing people,
His
selling
name's
drugs.
Carrot.
It's fair to assume that a guy named Carrot is
Who
going to
names
be
someone
ginger.
Carrot if they don't have red or orange hair?
Who named someone Carrot in general?
Well, it's
Ah.
a nickname.
It's a
Who named
nickname.
someone Lil
Lord
Z?
Fabulous.
Lord Fabulous has been awfully quiet. I don't know.
Yeah. What happened there, Lord
Yeah, I
Fabulous?
don't know. Yeah.
Oh,
hello.
He's
there.
back.
He's back.
Lord Fabulous.
He's
Um,
fabulously back. No, we were just talking.
Hello.
We were just talking about the very cycle of
Yeah.
the film and how
The
it
way
kind
it-
of comes to almost a full circle and shows that this can start again.
It's like nothing is really
Yeah.
achieved.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
really, really
while
weird.
this,
Which is like the
Yeah.
melancholic
While
vibe of this
the
movie.
story with the
Nothing
characters
really is
might be
achieved.
over, the story isn't over.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, that kind of emphasizes that the whole open world aspect of the film.
Yeah.
That it's
Yeah.
just like, even when you're not in an area, there's something happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. You're actually
Okay, that's
you're
good.
doing a good job.
That's good.
I mean, it also helps you have a pretty booming voice.
Am I doing alright?
You know, you're doing.
That hurt so much. That hurts so much.
No, you're doing fine. You're doing fine.
How about now?
Now that's better. Now you're about my level.
Sorry for all headphones users.
Headphones.
Yeah.
Headphones.
If you're listening to our podcast on headphones, you will
Don't.
probably die.
But if you're listening to our podcast on youtube.com/Matt you might as well give us a subscribe, like, and comment.
Hey.
I mean, see, I'm getting pretty good at this. Just weaving the segues in there.
What's the time frame on us here? How long have we been going for?
We've been going for 55 minutes.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Yes.
That's quite good.
That is quite good.
Yeah, right? It flies. You don't
Enticing.
I
think?
feel like the IBs taught us all like the other bullshit.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Except Saverio, who is not yet an IB student.
Yeah.
Will
well,
be soon.
He's been
Will be
experienced
soon.
enough.
I do.
Yeah.
I've seen people take on the
versed
idea.
in
They're going to see this and they're like, I don't know about this Matt and Ed guy. I don't know if we should give him certificate graduate. We should graduate.
It's true though. I mean, that's one of the greatest things about the IBs that teaches you how to literally go on forever until
It really does.
until they
well, I think it also helps because there's 4 of us.
Are we
So
relating
Yeah.
City of God to the IB?
City of God.
City of the IB.
International Baccalaureate. Yeah. So I guess let's just do final thoughts, and then we'll just have like overall final thoughts, if that makes sense. So final thoughts
All
on the film. Ed, you want to go first? Because
Yeah.
so we'll go in order of most prepared for the podcast.
That's a good plan.
So me first.
Oh, he started speaking.
We'll go from least to most. So, I think if I had watched this movie earlier, I would have really enjoyed it, but I didn't because I'm a moron, so I have no idea.
Thank you, Ed.
Saverio, go.
All right, I'm getting closer to the mic. I love the movie. It was a movie that I watched and watched again
Kid
a
is
second
currently
time.
trying to lick Saverio.
Which is, I mean, we've all been there,
All right.
but
Kid.
And most of us have done it. It's Saverio,
Yeah.
let's be real.
Stay clean.
We value your opinion.
Yeah, you're well respected.
All right. I was saying, yes,
I will say.
I loved the movie. I watched it twice. Will gladly watch it another time. Definitely think it's one of the best movies out of the small selection of movies that I've watched, which is not all the movies that are out there right now. One of the best ones, or ever. And yes, it's a movie that leaves me with a bit of sadness, actually, because it really does end kind of telling you how, even though no matter how hard people try to actually leave an environment like that, the cycle keeps on going. Like, there's still people in there and that keep on being in there without being able to leave. But apart from
I
the
just
movie was
literally
amazing.
realized Saverio and I were twinning, and like he said that when he came in, but I didn't really
Oh my
realize
God.
it. We're actually wearing the exact
Like,
they're
mine
the
has
same.
like white stitching, and that's the only difference
And
between us.
mine has white buttons.
Oh yeah, mine is black buttons. So we're essentially wearing
We're
like
pretty much the
shirt.
same.
Yeah.
same shirt.
But yeah, I get what you mean. This is definitely the best movie that I think I've seen on this podcast. Which, I mean, it's not a large selection
It's
of
up
movies.
against Air Buddies.
Hey, Air Buddies was a solid film.
Okay. Air Buddies is a solid second.
Snow Buddies is better.
Nobody's killed so many dogs.
Oh god.
Yeah,
No,
I'm not
no.
even joking.
Wait,
It's-
no,
Yeah,
actually,
it was on our second episode. Like,
12 dogs. Yeah, the second episode that Saverio listened to. But like 12 dogs died.
totally clueless.
Filming Snow Buddies.
yeah,
that is
there was
crazy.
a virus going around the puppies, but Disney kept going.
That's really messed up.
God damn it, Disney.
Screw
Nobody's is
Not
more
again.
messed up than City of God.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we need these Snow Buddies.
Yeah, damn.
It's one of the most important cinematic experiences that was ever released direct to DVD.
Straight to Blu-ray.
And I gotta say, this is an awesome movie. And
Yeah.
I would have never heard of it had it not been for Kit. So
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna thank him, even though technically Saverio was the one who sent the message saying City of God, although it was told by Kit.
I wish we'd watched Son of God and come
Yeah.
into City of God.
Yeah, it's super awesome. And I think everyone should go watch it. It's
Definitely.
if you want to watch it, I rented it for $3 on iTunes.
I rented it I bought it for $12 on Amazon Video.
That shows the commitment.
Yeah.
That
Well, I don't-
monetary
hey,
commitment.
And before I give my final thoughts on it, just as an experiment, if you do buy it on Amazon, when you scroll through on the scroller at the bottom of the screen, you'll see on the mini screen, if you go through it very quickly, the color change from the 60s, 70s to 80s, and you'll see that
Oh.
because it's actually that distinct.
That's awesome.
Damn.
Anyway, my final thoughts. To me, I think this is one of the best movies of all time. It's on Time Magazine's best movies of all time.
Even though Time Magazine has not seen every movie ever.
I know,
Hey,
but still.
remember when we were all the person of the year in 2006? The person of the year. You.
You.
So I think
That's
it's
my thoughts on Time Magazine.
Roger Ebert
rated it 4 out of 4 stars.
rated it 4 out of 4 stars, and I think I agree with him. I think it's an amazing film, and that everyone should go watch it
Please.
right
watch
now.
It. It's
Even
really
though
good.
Please
watch
watch
Air
it.
Buddies first, though.
And then listen to the
then
Matt
write
and
a
Ed show.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
write a compare and contrast about Air Buddies and City of God.
If you write a compare and contrast of Air Buddies and City of God,
We will get you on the show.
And the way they compare social issues.
Social issues.
As depicted in Air Buddies and City of God. That's an extended
those
Severio.
poor
That's
puppies.
extended as
That's my. That's how I'm going out. That's how I'm leaving the IB.
Yeah.
Air
Buddies
Buddies
and
versus City of God.
you could totally write an extended essay.
I
on
think
Air
it's a
Buddies
brilliant
and City
idea.
of God.
Literal
And with
thousands
that-
of people died.
Yeah.
But those puppies.
Yeah, so we're gonna start to wrap up here. If you
All right.
enjoyed the episode, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, Matt and Ed Show. Nope, that's Matt and Ed Show on Twitter. Send us an email, mattedshow@gmail.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give us a comment if you so choose to. Severio, Kit, do you have anything you guys want to plug personally, like the gram or? Not that gram, or the Instagram, or Twitter.
Follow official social Q
Oh, thank
on
you.
Instagram,
This is also cute.
and also
Oh, I think it's.
yeah.
I think it's Social Q official.
social Q official.
How do you just out of curiosity? Is
On
it
Instagram.
Q or CUE?
It is CUE because
Just in case.
when you go follow the Social Q, you automatically follow the Social Q.
I'm gonna go follow them right
nerd.
after this episode.
You join the movement.
Yeah.
Join the movement. Join the rebellion.
Join the rebellion.
What are you
The
rebelling
rebellion
against?
what?
Everything.
Nothing and everything all
At
at
the
the
same
time.
time.
We're rebelling against the concept that you have to rebel against something to be a rebellion.
Yes.
Except we're also rebelling.
Yeah, so if you enjoyed this episode, again, please like and subscribe. Next week, Ed and I are going to be starting our first ever story arc. We're going to be going through a bunch of Batman films, starting with Batman 89.
Hey.
It's going to be a blast.
gonna
And
be
then
a
we're going to
blast.
go into, yeah?
Remember, nothing is true and everything is permitted.
Kid's so happy. You got to say that. He has the biggest grin.
It's the Assassin's Creed logo saying.
And
Just-
then we're going to hop into Batman...
Returns? Returns.
Oh, yeah, Batman Returns.
With my man Danny DeVito in it.
And then we're going to jump to Batman Forever.
Whoop, whoop.
Our slow scale down to
Slow descent into the maelstrom that is
Batman and Robin. And then we're going to finish things off. We're going
This is probably the best film you're ever going to do on this podcast.
We're gonna finish it off with The
Oh,
Dark
yeah.
Knight, which is one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually
I
pretty
think The
good.
Dark Knight's very good.
That's a
It's
very
all
good
better
movie.
Okay.
in my
Shout out to Heath Ledger for being an
We've
amazing
seen
actor.
we
Yeah,
just
we did-
reviewed a Heath Ledger
did a Heath
movie
Ledger movie
yesterday.
last time.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
A Knight's Tale. It was alright. Ed liked it a lot.
Ed
Matt,
really
our
liked
other
it.
Maxime liked it a lot. Mad Max. Shout out to Mad Max.
Shout out to
shout
Mad
out
Max.
to Mad Max.
Yeah.
Shout out also
but-
to actual Mad Max.
Yeah, hey, that's a great film. But any final things you guys want to say? We personally want to thank you guys so much for
Yeah.
coming here and
We
coming.
want to thank you for
coming to
having
our
us.
show.
I would personally like to thank both of you for the immense privilege this was,
Aw.
and I'm very sorry for being 4 hours late.
It's okay.
We
It's okay,
are very
I was
sorry.
like really mad going into this, but now it's like, okay,
Yeah.
these guys can be back on the show. we
Yeah, totally.
we like them. They're
thanks.
pretty cool.
You guys have to come back for Son of God.
We'll come
Kid's,
back.
Kid's
will
not
be
going to
back.
come back.
We're
But
watching-
Severio's going to be back.
We're
But
watching that tonight.
No, I want to see Kid's analysis of Son of God. I want to see like the color scheme.
Writes a 2,000 word essay on Son of God.
This is
the
how
movie.
you pass the IB, dude.
People are getting bored. I think we should.
Yeah,
we should,
people-
we
Yeah,
should
we're
stop.
We're
All right.
we're over an hour, so thank you guys so much for listening. Or you guys heard all the plugs about 6 times now, so we hope you have a great week and a great start to summer. And Kit wants to say last word.
And kisses for all. Mwah. From Lord Fabulous and the
Friends.
And the
Italian
Italian
Playboy.
Playboy.
And the Italian
and the
Playboy.
Italian Playboy.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.